So this summer, Minnesota is going to be home to one of the most heated Democratic Senate primaries in the country. It's between Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan and Congresswoman Angie Craig. Flanagan got the endorsement of the DFL at the state convention this weekend, but Angie Craig says primary voters should decide who's the eventual nominee. Here's Danny on the state of the race right now.
With control of Congress at stake, two high-profile Democrats in Minnesota are aiming for the U.S. Senate seat left open by Senator Tina Smith. Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan will have the resources of the state party after earning the DFL endorsement this weekend.
The DFL endorsement carries a lot of weight.
While Congresswoman Angie Craig skipped the endorsing convention to focus on the August primary, where she has a significant advantage in campaign cash.
We've always known that this primary was going to be decided on August 11th, not at the convention.
Now, the two candidates have 70 days to make their case. Flanagan backs policies such as Medicare for All and universal child care, with endorsements from national progressives like Senator Bernie Sanders.
We don't have to agree on every issue, but what I am very clear on is that I am running to help people afford the lives they want to live.
Craig calls herself a pragmatic progressive and often points to bills she's passed in Congress, such as the cap on insulin prices, as proof that she's more electable in November.
This is going to be a dogfight for the general, and I know that I'm the strongest candidate that DFLers could put up.
But a competitive primary brings more scrutiny on the candidates. For Flanagan, that means answering questions about Minnesota's fraud response, which led Governor Walz to end his bid for a third term.
As the second leading executive in the state, to what extent should voters hold you accountable for the fraud that occurred?
Well, I want to be very clear that, Minnesotans are upset. They're angry about fraud, and, so am I. I know that this is an important issue to folks. What I would say is, the governor has said he wished that more had been done to tackle fraud. More should have been done sooner, and I agree.
For Craig, the response to Operation Metro Surge has become a defining issue. After voting for one of President Trump's top immigration bills, the Laken-Riley Act, she now says she regrets the vote.
Do you believe primary voters in the Democratic Party will really be able to overlook that?
Well, I'm communicating directly with them every single day on this topic. Democratic primary voters understand that I took this vote. I've communicated that any vote that gave Donald Trump and Republicans any additional authority under ICE, whether they're using it or not under Operation Metro Surge, that I regret that. But these voters also know that I stood up to ICE at the Whipple Detention Center.
Ultimately, Democratic voters across the state will decide the party's nominee in November. Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
August 11th is going to be a biggie because the Republicans also have a very competitive primary for that U.S. Senate seat between former Navy SEAL Adam Schwarzy. He won the endorsement from the Republicans this week. He's going to go up against former NFL broadcaster Michelle Tafoya. She's challenging him, and she has a significant edge in name recognition and money.